former Missouri governor and Navy SEAL Eric Greitens has a huge lead and is the clear frontrunner in the 2022 primaries for Missouri's open Senate seat. Here's One America's Christina Bobb.
Joining me in studio, former governor of Missouri, Navy SEAL, and now Republican candidate for Senate to represent the state of Missouri, Eric Greitens. His poll numbers are off the charts despite having only announced his race this week. Eric, what is the big topic that you're addressing that has you so popular?
Well, Christina, I think that the people of Missouri are excited because I'm a fighter and I'm willing to fight to defend President Trump's America First policies. They recognize that we have to have people who don't just have an R behind their name. We need to have fighters who are willing to stand up against Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer's crazy leftist policies, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
I think that is an important topic for a lot of Republicans or people who don't know what party they're with right now, because we haven't seen a lot of fight from the Republican Party.
Yes, what we have to have people who are willing to fight to defend President Trump's America First agenda. We have to have people who are willing to fight for election integrity. We have to have people who are willing to stand up and fight to support our law enforcement officers so that we have law and order in our cities. And we also need to have fighters who are willing to stand up to secure our border. Joe Biden has created a massive border crisis that's just clearly a product of this crazy leftist set of policies, and it's hurting Americans across the country.
We have seen a flood of people come up through the southern border. How does that affect Missouri? Or as a senator from Missouri, what would you do to stem that tide?
Yeah, so a couple things. What we need to do is we need to go back to President Trump's policies. Those policies were working. President Trump was building a border wall. That was working. President Trump was also enforcing the law. As soon as the Biden administration came into office, they stopped the construction of the border wall. They threw open the border and they turned it over to Mexican gangs and drug cartels. And that is bad. It's a national security problem. We've recently picked up people who are on the FBI's terrorist watch list coming through from Yemen through the southern border. It's a public safety and crime issue. It's a public health issue. It is an economics issue. And I also want to point out it is a terrible humanitarian crisis. The left talks about caring about people. What they've actually done is they've turned this border over to the Mexican cartels, and it is hurting thousands of the most vulnerable children in the world.
And how does that specifically impact people of Missouri, the middle states that are not border states?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we have to recognize is that when Biden throws this open border, it affects crime in states across the country. It affects economics in states across the country. One of the things that President Trump did such a good job of was bringing about this broad-based prosperity. When you have a flood of illegal immigrants, it obviously hurts wages in Missouri. When you turn the border over to Mexican drug gangs and cartels, it leads to more violence in places like St. Louis and Kansas City, which are also already seeing a massive spike in violence. That's why we have to secure the border, we have to support our law enforcement officers, and we have to fight for President Trump's America First policies.
I think that message will resonate with a lot of Republicans. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Christina.